everybody, and welcome to another episode of Komards Klass, brought to you by Komards NFT, myself, the host of Komard. Today's class is super special, you guys. We have Bart coming in to teach us tips and tricks on how to go viral on Instagram and on TikTok. That said, guys, we also have an amazing series of sponsors for this class and for future classes currently, including our friends at Smush Friends, Many Friends, One Heart, an NFT community project focused on positivity through example. If you're not familiar with them, you guys, be sure to check them out at www.smushfriends.com, and Smush is spelled with a V. We also have our audio masters of Stoner Guitars. Stoner Guitars is hand-drawn collections of one-on-one Stoner guitars. Holders receive a lot of cool utility. Again, you can find them on Twitter under Stoner's Guitars _. And with that, guys, we are going to go on ahead and dive right on into the class here. Bart, thank you so much for joining us today. You're definitely a leader in the community when it comes to knowing the tips and tricks of going viral on TikTok and Instagram. And we'd love to have your insight on that and help us to get to those points for some of us that are listening in the podcast and the audiences across the different platforms that we're streaming on right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here and hoping to bring as much value as I possibly can today. Would love to tell a little bit about my story, where we came from, how we got to where we've gotten, and then open it up for some Q&A, because I think the Q&A is where I can really bring the most amount of value. So without further ado, I'd love to tell you just a bit about my story and how I got started in TikTok and Instagram, and how we rose to the levels we have. So back in the end of 2020 or early 2020, I got on board with a guy named Chuck Hellman, who's a fashion guy in my city, Cincinnati, Ohio. Really high-end men's fashion, suits, and the whole nine. And if you guys remember what happened in 2020, early 2020, is really when the pandemic started to hit. And being a retail business at the beginning of the pandemic was not a great position to be in, let alone being a business that focused on high-end clothing. Because guess what happened when the pandemic hit? The last place people were going was to an office, let alone wearing a suit. And our bread and butter in terms of business was servicing weddings, offices and informal events. Everything shut down, and we're a retail business that focused specifically on that. So if you kind of put the odds up against us, or if you put the odds on us, we were really in last place in terms of a business that would come out of a pandemic with a digital presence. But Chuck Hellman, the owner of that business, had a great mentality, and it was either to fold his cards in or double down. And as a 20-year-old working with someone like that, he's in his late 50s. To see him take the stance of doubling down meant a lot to me, and I knew that I had a lot to prove for not only the business, but just to prove to everyone that we were gonna focus on making this work. So as a retail business, which focused very little on digital marketing, we knew we had to focus heavily and figure out a solution to save the business. So what we did is we started posting across all different types of social media. We built a new website. We were on YouTube, we were on Facebook, we were on Twitter, we were on Instagram, we were on TikTok. And our strategy when we first started was really throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. We would post consistently too. So we started making videos about merchandise. We started making videos about menswear tips. We covered the whole range of topics that we knew about. And what we discovered was, just by trying things, we saw some unexpected returns right off the bat, specifically in TikTok. And what ended up happening was we had a lot of people interested in what we were doing on TikTok. And we took the leads and we took content that was working and we started doubling down on the content. And we took our TikTok page from 0 followers at the end of 2020. Or excuse me, 0 followers at the end of or during 2021 to 4.1 million at the beginning of this year. So within 1 year, we took a TikTok page from 0 to 4 million, and we took our Instagram page from 0 to 170,000. And we don't have an incredibly big team. It's me and Chuck. That has been the whole team the entire time. We don't have an extraordinary budget. In fact, our budget is $0. Everything that we do is in-house. Everything we do is organic. We've never spent a penny on marketing. And what it's done for our business is taken us from just a small store in Cincinnati, Ohio, to being one of the leading voices in fashion on the internet, specifically men's fashion and hyper specifically men's suits. And what we've really done is we put suits on the map, and it's something that really kind of turned into a life of its own. And throughout the whole journey, my goal has been to teach and to educate and inspire others to learn from what we've done and prove that it's possible for anybody, especially someone who Chuck is 60 years old, especially someone like him. And believe me, he got the most comments about being on TikTok than anybody. You know, when we first got on, it was all like, what is this guy doing? This guy's crazy. This guy's lost his mind. You know, people don't say that anymore. People come knocking on our door asking for advice. So that's a little bit behind our story. And my goal here today is to hopefully give you just a couple tips that you can walk out of here with and immediately apply to whatever you want to achieve and see some success with it. So Komards, thanks for having me here today. You let me know how you would like me to run this. I'm happy to start diving into some specifics, or if you have any questions before I go, just let me know.
So just for clarification, most of what you guys have learned is come from real world experience and just trying different things and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and things like that, correct? Okay, and then yeah. The only point I would like to make to people is that understand, guys, that the things that Bark is about to tell us and let us know does not necessarily mean that just because it worked for them, that it's going to work for us as individual creators. You need to understand that every brand is different and every organization is different. So what works for one may not work for another.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I'm not going to go into such advice that's so specific that it wouldn't apply. I think my goal here today is to just tell you what worked for us and to tell you why I think it worked. And it's up to you to decide how you would like to apply that to your brands or your businesses to see if you can grow them. But that is a great point. And I think that's a great place to kick off. There really is no right or wrong way to approach TikTok and Instagram. I mean, there's certainly things that work better, and there's certainly things that work, have a smaller chance of succeeding. But if you just spend 5 minutes on that platform or on Instagram, you'll start to see that there is a huge diversity of content on there, and there's all different types of content from extremely professional all the way down to what looks like was filmed on a flip phone from 10 years ago. You kind of get the whole gamut, which is really interesting to see as a creator. But what it tells me, and something that we knew right off the bat, is that it's not all about quality. It's not all about like the highest grade camera. It's not always about the highest grade editing. It's not always about the top vocal quality. Those are certainly things that can work and will work in some circumstances. But I see a lot of people not want to jump into a platform or not want to jump into content creation because they don't have the right equipment or they don't have that right studio yet. And certainly, guys, you want to upgrade that stuff over time, but don't let that be a barrier to start. And one of my main points when I tell people of how to start is remove all the barriers that you can. Like remove all the hoops. Whether that's a physical hoop, like a piece of like a camera equipment or a microphone, or whether that's just a mental barrier for you. I don't like the way that I look on camera. Well, jump into audio. You don't have to show yourself on camera. You can make TikToks that are audio or just visual, like a visual demonstration or like a PowerPoint type thing or an animation. I don't like the sound of my voice. Do art. You don't have to show your face. Do art and throw some cool music over it. So I think the very first thing is remove all the hoops. And if there's some things that you can't get by, of where you just don't like the way you look on camera, you don't feel comfortable on camera, that's fine. Me personally, I don't like being on camera, but my co-founder Chuck loves being on camera. Well, he doesn't love being on it, but he loves doing business, and if therefore him being in front of the camera allows us to do more business, he gets on camera. So you just have to figure out what is going to be barriers for you and how to remove them. And the first thing is like, you don't need any professional equipment. You can start on your phone, and that's exactly how we started. And the great thing about TikTok and Instagram to get started, all you really need to do is open up the app, and you could make a TikTok within the first couple minutes of being on there. And that's the best way to start. And how we started was just trying things. And there really is no right or wrong way. Like I said, you get on there, there's professional content, there's random content, funny videos, short videos. The best thing that you can do is watch and consume as much content as you can. Do your homework. It's the same things I would tell anyone in the NFT space. Before you buy an NFT, you should really do some homework. And it's the only way to really get a grip on it. I mean, I could tell you about TikTok in this time that we're here today, but the one lesson I would tell, if you wanted to walk away from here, is watch the content, but don't just watch it mindlessly. Study the content on TikTok. What are you seeing in the videos? How quickly are they jumping into the action? What kind of music are they using? How fast is the camera moving? How are they doing their transitions? There's no real secret here other than you're just going to have to watch these and learn yourself. Now, I would love to tell you about some strategies towards the end of this. Just a quick couple bullets on how long I think it should be, how quick I think you should get into the action. I'll dive into that. But before I do, the best way to learn is to consume and watch as much as you can. The quote I usually give is like, you should really put in 25 to 50 hours of homework in the NFT space. I think it's the same with TikTok as well. Another huge point I would like to make is you should really consider social media an asset, not a liability, especially if you're a business or a brand or creator. A lot of people and a lot of businesses look at this the wrong way. It's always backwards. 99% of the time it's backwards. It's what do I have to do with my TikTok? What do I have to do with my Instagram? Oh, it's gonna cost me all this time, all this money to do it. You're looking at it as a liability, and what a liability means in business is it's really just like an expense of time and money. You need to look at your social media as an asset, something that's going to have a return on your investment. So yes, it might take you 25 to 50 hours to learn TikTok. Yes, you could be doing something else in those 25 to 50 hours, but you need to understand that investing your time into learning a platform can certainly in our case have a return to your business that's well worth it. I've put in hundreds of hours into TikTok, but the amount of return it's gotten for our business and exposure is far exceeded what I would have been doing with that time anyways, researching something else or trying to find that next, big NFT or that next platform. So you need to reframe your mind as really looking at TikTok and Instagram and Twitter for that matter, but specifically TikTok and Instagram as an asset. And the great thing about TikTok and Instagram right now, guys, and especially when I say Instagram, I'm referring to Instagram Reels, which is TikTok's version or Instagram's version of TikTok, really. YouTube Shorts is another one. The reason I preach about these platforms so much is that it's called underpriced attention. And what I mean by underpriced attention is there's very few places on the internet right now where you could log in, create an account, make your first post, and then see traction on it. Let alone see traction that could change your life overnight. on Instagram Reels and TikTok, there's an extraordinary thing called organic reach, which means if you make your first post, people will see that post. If you go on Facebook and you make your first post, people will not see that post. If you go on regular Instagram and make your first post of you smiling at the park, there's a very small chance people are going to see that post. There are cases, and we've worked with somebody, we've collabed with someone who have made their first TikTok post and posted it, went to bed, woke up the next morning with 1 million followers. And guys, let me tell you, 1 million followers, what that does is not only is that just an amazing benchmark, it unlocks an entire new opportunity. Like, it unlocks an entire new stream of opportunities for you. It opens doors for you. You know, we have 4 million on TikTok. That gets us into a lot of rooms. That gets us into a lot of conversations. That puts us next to a lot of people that we would never have chances to do. When people come into the store, because we have 2 retail stores, you know, people that come in from TikTok, we've got a blue check mark on TikTok, 4 million followers. They look at us like we're some big celebrity. We're just normal guys. But it's increased the amount of trust in what we do, and it's increased the scale in which we can reach people and meet people to a degree that it's really hard to even explain. So the fact that you can make that first post on TikTok and wake up the next morning with 1 million followers is reason enough as to why you should be on those platforms. And that creator I'm speaking of, specifically, his name is Angry Reactions. He was homeless in his car, and he made a reaction video on TikTok using the front-facing camera and wired Apple headphones. He made a video, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and he had 1 million followers. It changed the course of his life. He's in the most recent Planet Fitness campaign. He lost like 80 pounds, and dude's life got completely flipped upside down. So it's underpriced attention, and it's not going to stay that way. There's always going to be new platforms that come out and sort of take that crown is where underpriced attention is. And the reason they can do that is, and the reason TikTok is that way right now, is there's a lot of viewers on TikTok, and there's not as many content creators. So that scale is not even yet. So if you're a creator on there's more viewers proportionally than there are creators, versus something like Instagram. So if you hear my dog in the background, she wants to go outside. On Instagram, there's so many creators. Everyone's an influencer. There's millions of posts a day, and there's really, the audience is going down and the creators are going up. TikTok, you can go on there and the advantage is in your favor. Now, like I said, it's not going to stay that way forever. So right now is the opportune time. The opportune time was the best time was a year ago. You know, the second best time is right now. It's not too late. It's still on there. It's still on for Instagram Reels, but it will not last forever. I in my opinion, you know, there's a few months to just a short number of years while you can still see that level of growth on there. But it's underpriced. So I highly advise that you begin thinking about a strategy on there. Now, where do you start? How do you start? Well, first off, you need to determine what your objective is. If you're an artist, your objective looks a lot different than if you're a brand if you're a one-to-one NFT artist, right? Your objective looks a lot different than if you're a candle company versus if you're a water park in Florida, you know. But when I say the objective is different, you know, you might want someone to come to you and experience a service. You might want someone to go online and buy a product. You might want someone to connect with you and follow with you so that you can share your future opportunities and future endeavors with them. So before you even post, right, do your homework and then think about, what is your objective? What do you want people to actually do? Are you trying to get them to buy something? Are you trying to get them to follow you? And with that in mind, that should really begin the process of thinking about how you're going to create your content. Now, no matter what your objective is, there's a few things that I'm going to tell you here, and these are some of the points that it took us months and months to learn. But these are some of the things that I think are super, super useful and will instantly give your TikToks a higher chance of succeeding. The first thing is cut to the point. the attention span of a human being in modern society is I don't actually know the real figure. I've heard it's between 2 seconds and 5 seconds, but on TikTok it's about 1.5 seconds. If your TikTok doesn't capture my attention in 1.5 seconds, then you've lost me, and you've lost a large chance of going viral. Not impossible, but a very slim chance of going viral if your TikTok doesn't capture the attention in 1.5 seconds. So what does that mean? What does that mean within 1.5 seconds? I need to be visually entertained. I need to be verbally entertained. I need to be informed. You need to get me. You need to hook me in. It's like a great movie trailer. It's like a great book. It's like a great TV show. You know, a show that fails to hook you in right off the bat or on that pilot episode, you're probably not watching the whole series. TikTok especially, if you don't get me in that 1.5 seconds, I'm not watching your content. The first 1.5 seconds could be bad, and the rest of your content could be the best TikTok ever posted. But if that 1.5 seconds isn't there, you're not going to get the views. And I stress this so much because I see a lot of creators make beautiful, they'll put hours and days into content. You know, they'll spend a long time animating, a long time, you know, working on this beautiful piece of content. But the first 1.5 seconds was trash. That content's destroyed, and you could have been using that time to in the amount of time you spent making that beautiful piece of content, you could have made 10 pieces of okay content that had, you know, one of those could have gone viral, 2 of those could have gone viral. So make sure the 1.5 seconds at the beginning is incredible. That's the first thing. The second thing, TikTok is all about community, and the algorithm is all about community. It wants to see that people are engaging in your post. So how do you increase engagement on your post? You have to encourage it, and you have to get people to want to engage with your post. And it's not the kind of post where it's like, if you love this, drop a follow. If you love this, drop a like. You can't fish for it. It has to be organic. So what we do on TikTok, and I guess I haven't even explained the type of content that we make suit videos. We make custom suits around pop culture that are all based upon community suggestions. And some of the examples, we do animes. Like we've done Naruto, we've done Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, One Piece. We've done a ton of anime. We've done video games, Minecraft, Fortnite, Skyrim. We've done movies like John Wick, Peaky Blinders. It's a TV show, but same realm. Spider-Man, Superman. You know, we've done a lot of different types of content, but the one thing that's consistent is it's all suggested from our community. So let's say a community member suggests we do a Spider-Man suit. We will literally build a custom suit that is Spider-Man themed, and we'll film it and do some special effects with it and put it to some music and post it on TikTok. Every single video that we've posted since the beginning of 2020, beginning of 2021, has had over 1 million views. We haven't had a single video less than 1 million views. So when I talk about these strategies to go viral, you know, we hit over 1 million every time. We've had videos go up to 40 million as well. We average about 5 million though. And that's a feat that very few TikTok creators can say. It's a very, very slim category of people who have fallen into that. So when I say connect with the community, think about what are ways you can get your community to engage. What we've done with our content is every single piece of content we put out is a community suggestion. And if you comment on one of our videos, you have a chance of your idea being turned into a suit. And that chance of your idea turning into that suit is worth a comment. It's worth your 2 seconds to comment on our video. You want to see a Ferrari suit, you know, really bad? Just take 2 seconds and comment. It's worth the shot. It's worth the shot, because when we feature your comment on our page, you're going to get some follows too. You're going to get some likes too. You know, people are going to check you out. It's a win-win for our community and for us. So if you're an artist, right? You're an NFT artist, and you're thinking about creating content, you should ask the community what kind of art they want to see, and then draw it. Or if you make cakes, you should ask the community what kind of cakes they want to see, They might want to see a Superman cake. Go make a Superman cake. If you're a musician and somebody wants to see wants to hear a song about Bored Ape Yacht Club, like you're an NFT musician. Someone says, make a song about Bored Ape Yacht Club. Go make a song about Bored Ape Yacht Club and give them a chance to have their idea shown. You want to create ways for the community to authentically engage. It has to be authentic because these algorithms are so smart. The TikTok algorithms, the Instagram Reel algorithms, TikTok I think is smarter than Instagram. These algorithms are so smart. They know when you fish for it. They know when it's unauthentic. And if you can get people to authentically engage, that will send your content to a whole nother level. And in addition to that, in getting the community to engage, I always say do the unexpected. And on the same examples earlier, the Superman cake or a Spider-Man, draw Spider-Man but with like a funny head or like a different body. These are the kind of things that people haven't seen before. You need to kind of establish some sort of novelty with your content. It has to be something that's new and unique. Really, I'm talking about to achieve virality. Like having a piece of content that's very, very novel is another great way to try to get some traction on your videos. Everyone's seen, somebody draw a human face before. So what can you do to make that human face stand out, right? Like maybe draw it in charcoal, right? With like your foot, or draw it upside down, or draw it with like use a shoe to make the art, and like use different objects from around your house to make that face. If you can weave in some piece of novelty into your content, it just gives it such a higher chance of succeeding, especially if you can interweave that novelty within the first couple seconds, like the first 1.5. What we do that's novel is I guarantee you you've never seen a Naruto suit before, unless you've seen our videos. Like I can almost guarantee you've never seen a Naruto suit, or you've never seen a Charizard suit before. So inherently, we're combining pop culture with an industry that's really known for never changing, which is like luxury suits. So that's our avenue of novelty. And then the last thing I would, or two more things in terms of just easy strategies. You want to create context, and you want to make it really easy for viewers to understand what your TikTok is about or what your Instagram Reel is about. Like they shouldn't have to guess what they just watched. They shouldn't have to guess halfway through what they're watching. Like within the first, not only if you can create context within the first 1.5 seconds, then you've won. Like the chances of your video going viral are astronomically higher. So the comments we always choose for our videos are quite literally, please make a Spider-Man suit. And then the first thing you see is the Spider-Man suit. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to put those two things together and say, okay, I'm seeing a Spider-Man suit here. But if you have to keep TikTok, if people are browsing on TikTok, guys, they don't want to think. They're not there to think. They're like on the toilet, they're in bed, they're on the bus, they're at work when they should be working. They're there to escape. And you need to provide them entertainment or information that's super easy to consume, super fun to consume. There are cases where certain TikToks talking about statistics or this and specific things go well. I'm just talking about generalized tips to go viral. The easier you can make your TikTok to understand in terms of context, the better. So if you're an artist who makes NFT art and you make one-to-one like photography, right? If you're a photographer, let's use this because I haven't used this example yet. If you're an NFT photographer, show them the process of creating your photography and feature someone's comment on there that says, somebody says, go take a picture upside down. That's their comment. Like, show a video of you upside down, like hanging from something upside down and taking a picture. Show them the process. And walk them through it. Give them as much context as you can, not just in video form. Give them context in text form. Use captions. use the description. You need to make this thing like so easy to understand. It doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or if you're 80 years old. You want everyone to be able to understand. And if you can do it, if you can break down language barriers as well, it opens up your TikTok to basically hitting every single country. You notice on ours, we really don't say many words. Fashion is a language of its own. Art is a language of its own. Photography is a language of its own. And you guys, everyone in here is, falls into some one of those buckets. If you can make your video, borderless in terms of language, it's going to reach the world. Only I think 70% of our audience is based outside of the U.S. That's a beautiful thing. That is so cool. I mean, we reach people from countries where they don't even people don't even wear suits in some of these countries. So we're bringing fashion all around the world. It just makes me smile knowing that we're bringing something to the world that breaks a lot of barriers in terms of language. So creating context is extremely important. And then the last thing I would say that's really critical is to remain consistent, right? Like if you find a piece of content works, let's say you posted 10 and all of them got between 4 and 20 views, okay? No, that was not intended to be 420, but we'll roll with it. And then one of them gets 150 views. What about that one that got 150 views? Like, what do you think happened in that TikTok that made it so successful? Take what happened and then try it again. Double down. And then let's say that video gets 600 views. Take that same concept, double down on it again. We did this time and time again, guys. Like, we didn't start off with 4 million followers. We started off with 0. Everyone starts off with 0. And we just kept doubling down. And people that would see us, it would become repetitive, right? They'd see us again. Oh, I know what these guys are going to do. They'd see us again. Oh, I know what these guys are going to do. And eventually we just became like regular programming for the app. And every time we posted, it was no question as to what we were doing. It was a beautiful thing. So when I say you need to study content, go look at the top creators that have consistently viral content. Look what they do. They do this, like, for the most part, they're doing the same stuff every single time. Unless you're like the funniest person on the face of the earth or the most attractive person on the face of the earth, which I'm neither. You need to be creative and consistent. And that's really the biggest piece of advice. Remain consistent. If you make one video, it goes viral, you get 1 million followers, and you don't post ever again, it's not going to do much for you. Yeah, you could walk up to someone in a bar and say, "Well, I've got 1 million followers on TikTok," and they say, "Wow," and they buy you a shot. But that's about it. So just really, really, guys. I mean, there's a couple specific things if you would like to know more, like just a couple specific tactile things that I could tell you about making a TikTok. But overall, it's really about learning, defining your objective, creating context, and getting your message across in a short amount of time, and just being different. That's really it. And no matter what your goals are in the world, having a strong online presence and having a community that cares about you is one of the most important things to succeeding in the digital space for a long time. I mean, you guys are all here to get something out of this space, okay? So my goal here today isn't to plug something or to try to get you to buy something of mine. It's so that in the future, when you think about going viral on TikTok, or you think about going viral on Instagram, that you think of me, and we can be a resource to each other. We can be of help to each other. I hope that you've learned something today, so I hope I could bring you value, so that we can all remain connected in this network and grow stronger. That's why we're all here. We're all here to achieve something, and growing your community is certainly one of the most important things you can do online. And Twitter is like the cheapest place to do it. TikTok is like the cheapest place to do it. You just need a phone and 5 minutes. So would love to move into some Q&A if there is some, or Komards, I'm sure you might have some things you'd like to discuss, but I know I went on a long talk there, so I'll open up the floor a little bit here.
Okay, this is my question. it's something I've been struggling with for a minute, basically trying to
Komards.
work my.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I'm having some technical difficulty here. My mute button will not come off.
And we'll do some Q&A.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna try this. I don't know if it's gonna work. Oh, that's nice. Twitter just failed. All right. Close it real quick. That's awesome. Guys, apologies for the technical issues that I am facing. Almighty, he did not get to hear your question because I could not get it to come off of mute.
Gotcha.
Give me 1 second here. We will be editing this audio a little bit. But yeah.
So we'll just continue rolling and we'll just continue going.
All right. Sorry, I'm back. Number one, I want to thank you, Bark, for all of that information. I mean, you enlightened me a little bit with that first 1.5 seconds of grabbing somebody's attention. But by telling me that, all you did was raise more questions. Like, how am I supposed to do that as an NFT artist or an NFT creator or project or things like that? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're really doing things with different versions of art.
That's a good question, and then Fortune, we'll jump back to you. I want to tackle Komards. So it's all different versions of art, and then Komards, you're getting a little feedback if you want to throw it on mute for a sec.
Yep.
There's all different types of art, right? If you're an NFT artist or just an artist in general, like just because you're an NFT artist doesn't mean it has to be digital. Like you could be a photographer, you could sculpt and then photograph your sculptings. You could paint and then photograph your paintings. So I'm not talking only digital stuff here. How do you capture something in 1.5 seconds, right? Like, so what if you're an artist where your art takes you months to make? Like, let's just say you're a sculptor, right? Like you sculpt clay or you sculpt, marble or chisel marble. How do you capture someone's attention in 1.5 seconds, right? It almost feels like you're fighting an uphill battle, and yes, you kind of are. You are at an immediate disadvantage because your work takes time to explain. In our case, the suits that we make take 2 weeks to sometimes, in some cases, where we have to study the pop culture we're learning from. It takes 6 months to make a suit. Like I had to watch like a whole season of Jujutsu Kaisen just to understand, like make sure we do it right. Okay, so time spent. You have to really understand that you are going to have to make some sacrifices in terms of capturing that in 1.5 seconds. But the 1.5 seconds, once I'm hooked, then you can explain things to me. So the first 1.5 seconds need to be interesting. If your art takes 6 months to make and you want to communicate that it takes 6 months to make your art, you can do that, but you need to capture me in the first 1.5 seconds. How do you do that? When I first come onto your TikTok, or when I first come onto your piece of content, I want to be visually entertained. Don't start with picking up the phone off of like the table and then taking 3 seconds to start talking about what you're doing. You've lost me. Don't start with, if you're making a video on how to bake a cake, don't start with you mixing the flour and mixing the eggs and then mixing the sugar. Show me the finished product first, and then show me your process of baking the cake. I see this all the time, right? Like I see people they take custom tennis shoes, and they paint them and they do cool things with them, right? So the first thing that they show me is the finished product. And let's just say somebody made a pair of anime tennis shoes, which is really cool. They paint these crazy anime tennis shoes. They take Air Force Ones, paint them up, and make them look cool. They show me the finished product. And then the next thing they show me is the clean pair of Air Force Ones, and then them going through their process of making it. So if you're an NFT artist, show me your finished product, and then cut to the process of you making your art. I want to see when it went into it. If you're a photographer, show me that shot. Show me that cool shot that you worked so hard to achieve. I think there's a photographer on here called Drift on Twitter. He's an NFT photographer, and he basically climbs skyscrapers in these like ridiculous, dangerous spots and takes these amazing photos. If you just showed me his photo right off the bat, it wouldn't have the same context as to what he does with his content, which is he shows me him climbing these crazy buildings and him falling and saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so high up right now." Like, he puts me in his shoes, and then he snaps the photo and shows me what it is. So the first 1.5 seconds it doesn't mean you need to explain your entire art in 1.5 seconds, but I want to see some sort of vision, some sort of final product, and then I want to see your process of how you made it. So the first 1.5 seconds, it's really all about the hook. It's just, a movie trailer doesn't tell you everything about the movie. It just tells you a reason to get your ass in the theater and go see it. So it's the same concept. Like, you need to make me want to continue to watch your content. So that's really all it is. I hope that answered your question. And I'm happy to provide some more examples, but I keep trying to provide some examples on here as well, because I think examples, especially in the NFT space, are the best way to learn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely helped me get a clearer understanding. I know there are people in here in the Twitter space itself that have some questions, but I also know that I have some people in Discord that have some questions. Guys, on Instagram, if you've got questions, please go on ahead and put your question into the text field there, and I will certainly get that asked for you, so that way Bark can see it and get you guys an answer. We will make our rounds with getting those questions answered. So that being said, I know one of the first ones that I heard as far as questions are concerned came from Almighty Alphabet, who is currently in the Discord listening to this class, and I'm going to let him try to ask that again, so that way you can give him the best possible answer.
Sure.
Almighty, are you good?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Can you hear him, Bart?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
You might have to clarify it, Komards, after.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead,
Okay.
Almighty.
Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I appreciate your information. It's amazing. I'm really enjoying everything I'm hearing. So I'm Mighty Alphabet, and my, I'm not going to say here and shell accidentally, but I do have some a question, because you said that you have one partner and you guys did amazing. But I do have a question, because let's say, for instance, you were by yourself. I started off with my wife, and my wife has gotten sick enough where she can't help me anymore. And so, there's a lot that I can't do throughout the day that she was doing, but it's a two-part question. Number one, what would you be missing if your partner could not help you? And what avenues would you go to rectify those things? Would you look for another partner, or would you look for education? How would you fix that? Because that's something I've been really butting up against, and it's been a big struggle for me.
Cool. Loud and clear, so no need to clarify. And appreciate the question, Alphabet. It's a really good one. The one of the points I was discussing earlier was really talking about removing the hoops, okay? And a lot of the examples I gave was, I don't have the right team to execute. I don't have the right camera to execute. I don't have the right audio equipment to execute. These are all things that are going to prevent you from posting content if you let them. Okay, I know content teams. I know social media teams that have 15 people on them. And you look at someone like Gucci, who I would put in quotations as a competitor of ours, but they're really not, because their TikToks and their reels get a couple thousand views. But I can guarantee you that their content jumps through several different hands, several different teams. They've got the best cameras in the world. They've got the best models in the world. They've got the best clothes in the world. But you look at their content, and it's we get more views I get more views in 2 seconds than they do in a week. And you ask yourself, why is that? It's because it's not about the size of your team. It's not about the quality of your equipment. It's about your message and your intent. And you shouldn't let the size of your team or the quality of your equipment determine whether you can post, how often you can post. Now, some of the top creators on the platform do everything on their phone and like on the whim. Set their phone down and just say something to the microphone like, hey guys, I was at the bakery today and look what I just found. And it's this cool little donut. They take a bite out of it and like 20 different jams and chocolates come out of it. And oh my gosh, you need to try this. And then you could have the same person go in there with a DSLR and an Audio Technica kit and a lighting kit, film the same video, and that video could flop. So the message here is remove every barrier, remove all the mental barriers, remove all the equipment barriers, and don't let time stop you. If you only have 10 minutes to post, one 10-minute post is better than zero post, right? Like if I only have 10 minutes, I can't post today, or I need an hour to post. Post the 10 minutes, man. You just post it, right? Like it's and we've reached the point now where we do quality over quantity. But at the beginning, it was definitely quantity. Just throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. So that would be my first piece of advice, right? Like you don't need a partner, you don't need a team, you don't need the best equipment. But what would happen if my partner, couldn't do it anymore? Well, he's so ingrained in what we're doing. He's become a little celebrity at this point. If he had to stop doing it, I would figure it out. We would figure out a solution to make it work. Now, I know him personally, and we've worked together now for 3 years, so I don't intend on that happening, but we would adapt. We would evolve. I'm not afraid of that. If that happened, it happens, and we move on. But would I let that paralyze me for the rest of my life and never post again? No. So my advice to you would be remove all the barriers, mental and physical, that it's going to prevent you from posting, and post if you can, post everything that you can. If you only have 10 minutes a day, figure out what you got to do to make it happen in that 10 minutes. Even if it's on your phone, even if it's bad lighting, figure out what you can do to make that post count. That's the best thing, because guess what? One post in 10 minutes is better than zero posts. I hope that's a quality answer for you. Appreciate the question, Alphabet.
Thank you.
Okay, so he said thank you very much for the answer. In case you didn't hear that, we'll go on ahead and take the next question here in Twitter Space. So I'm not sure who that is exactly. I think it's Pixel Eggs.
Pixel. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? What's going on? Not a whole lot. Just had to come through and show my boy Komards some love. And I absolutely love hanging out with these guys. You got a lot of great people in the crowd. And yeah, I wanted to say, if anybody needs help with any kind of posting, feel free to reach out. I have a phone full of templates that are pretty good for Twitter interactions and everything. So yeah, you need any help, just feel free to ask.
Amazing. See, guys, this is what it's all about, is helping each other learn, helping drive each other forward. Okay. And that's really kind of the whole point of these Komards classes, is to help you guys figure things out so that you guys can be successful. Is there anybody else that has any questions or any comments or concerns or anything like that? I do see we got a couple of new people in the Discord as well. If you have any questions, by all means, please feel free to ask. All right.
You got some weird interference going on there, Mr. Komards.
I know it's being picked up by Twitter, but it's not being picked up on Instagram. It's not being picked up on Discord. It's weird. I don't get it. So, yeah, it's a little weird.
That's interesting.
It is.
And it adds a very mysterious effect to your speaking.
Well, thankfully,
someone said he's getting his haircut right now, like the buzzers.
Well, thankfully,
so we'll just go with.
I was going to say, well, thankfully, I have a hell of an audio mixer. who's going to be able to filter out a lot of that stuff to where hopefully it's just our voices. And that is Stoner Guitars. Again, guys, when you see the video on YouTube, that is due to Smush Friends who put the video together for us and recorded it for us. Guys, please check out Smush Friends. Please check out Stoner Guitars. Great projects, both of them, in my opinion. And I did see Metamorphics tried to come up and ask a question. So please, Meta, go on ahead, ask your question, and let's see what we can do to get you an answer, okay?
Thank you, Komards, for this class and Bark. Like, you really provided so much just gold content and information for everybody. I don't know if I have so much of a question, but I just wanted to come up and say thank you. And to the speaker earlier, when you were saying, like, if people use excuses like, oh, I don't have a DSLR, I don't have a sound system or anything like that, most people on TikTok, they're using their phone to create content. Like, you don't need all that, because once you start trying to get the latest and best equipment, it's just going to become tiresome, and like, you're just not going to want to do it, because it's just going to become too much work, because then you got to transfer stuff from the camera to the computer to the editing, versus like so many people make viral videos just straight out of their phone. And I just want to say, like, you know, if you can't be faithful with the little things and with what you do have, like, no amount of equipment is going to inspire you to keep going. And just the main thing that struck out to me from everything that you said is that whole attention grabber, like that 1.5 seconds in the beginning. And I've just been thinking, you kind of touched on it briefly, but for like a PFP project or like a one-of-one NFT project, I know you were mentioning, like, oh, you can show the process of how to create the NFT, like first show the NFT and then the process of how to create it or so. But have you seen anything like more unique, I guess, idea-wise, of how we can integrate NFTs into TikTok without necessarily showing how we create them, if that makes any sense?
That's a good question. You know, the thing that TikTok is really good at is pushing out content that's authentic. Like I said, the algorithm on TikTok is leagues ahead of everything else. It just knows how to read videos. It knows how to read creators. It knows how to read content like anything I've ever seen. In some cases, even, you know, just telling a story and telling a message about who you are and what you're aiming to achieve is even more effective than showing off an incredible piece of art or an incredible piece of, you know, photography. There's certain cases of and I'll give you an example, because I love examples. There's a channel on or there's a page on TikTok where they go around and they talk to people about their outfits that they're wearing, like the fashion that they're wearing. And sometimes they'll go up to people that are decked out head to toe and, you know, Balenciaga, Gucci, and all these brands, and they'll ask them, you know, what are you wearing? And tell me a little bit about your fit. And they'll go into the price, they'll go into the materials that are made, they'll go into the, you know, the details of the threads and the herringbones. And that video will do okay. And then they'll go up to someone who is wearing an outfit that they made themselves, that they found from vintage stores and pieces that are handed down to them from their grandparents, or, you know, from their families that passed away, or just really, really amazing stories of repurposing fabrics and things of that nature. And then the person in the video that's being interviewed talks about why they love it so much and why it means so much to them. And that's the video that will go viral, because they're communicating their message, they're communicating their story, they're communicating why that's so important to them. And there's, you know, like I said, it's a feeling, and it's an intent thing. You know, what is the intent of the video? You know, are you trying to sell your art, or are you trying to tell people why you can't wake up in the morning and do anything else but go back to making art, or to bringing people together? Like, you wake up in the morning and all you want to do is make the world a better place, and NFTs just happen to be the medium in which you do that. You know, or art is just the medium in which you do that. or photography is just the medium in which you bring people together or make the world a better place. You talk about your message, as long as your message is authentic. If your message is, I want to make $1 million and retire in Jamaica, that's that's your prerogative. I personally wouldn't go around and communicate that. I wouldn't suggest that as a tip for going viral, but hell, I mean, you have to be honest with what your intent is and your prerogative, and people respond well to that. When people see a 60-year-old guy with an anime suit, he's not doing that for his health. He's doing that because he loves fashion and he loves inspiring people to pursue fashion. Like, we inspire a lot of young people to get into fashion. We inspire a lot of people in countries where fashion is not really around to pursue fashion. So I would say to you, in addition to showing off art, like I said, the method, throw everything against the wall, see what sticks. I would like to see, how do you make your art? I would like to see maybe a day in your life. I would like to see why you need to make art. Why do you wake up in the morning and the only thing you can think about is making art? Why, when you're at your job at work, like, here's an idea, and I've seen this before. Someone's at work and they're showing them in a cubicle, and then they get a little bit closer and they're doing a voiceover. They get a little bit closer and they're working on their side hustle at the office. Now, I'm not condoning starting a side hustle on company time, but certainly that video did really well for them, and they just showed, like, hey, like, I care so much about my side hustle that I'm doing it at my desk job, and here it is. And there's just some relatability to that. Like, I want to feel like it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone, and I'm going to get philosophical. I'm going to talk about philosophy here for 30 seconds. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how rich you are. Doesn't matter how famous you are. We all deal with the same shit. Everyone has bad days. Everyone has good days. Everyone has loving moments. Everyone has moments of feeling down and alone. If you can create content that unites people and shows that you're a human being, no matter what it is, doesn't matter what your product is, what your service is, what you're doing, people relate to that, and that matters. And that will build a community. That will build traction on your content. So, like I said, try everything. Show me a day in the life. Show me why you can't not make art. Show me your art process. Turn your art into a cake one day. Like, make a cake with your art on it. Make a pair of tennis shoes. Paint your art on a pair of tennis shoes. Tell me why you love helping people. Why do you wake up in the morning and why do you love helping people? You might not even talk about your project. There might not even, we don't even tell people we sell our clothes. The only reason people come to our store and buy our stuff is because they do the due diligence to come find us. So my suggestion to you is to try a bunch of different things. Don't be scared, and go for it, and communicate your message and be authentic. And I really believe TikTok will reward you for that.
I just want to quickly add in, thank you for that, because while you were speaking, I got a crazy idea that just came to me that's super creative, that I'm super excited to try, but it's going to take some time. So thank you. You just inspired that.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah, what's up?
When you post that idea, will you post that idea, and then will you send it to me when you do?
Yeah, I for sure will do that. I think it's going to take some time to implement, because it's going to go hand in hand with art and then something else that I want to do. So it's going to be a big risk kind of for me, outside the box a little bit, but I'll definitely shoot it over your way once I get it rolling.
Okay. And don't forget, remember, when you're trying to build an audience, it's a risk versus reward, right? Like, investing a lot of time into it. This is just a learning lesson that we learned at the beginning. We would put a lot of time into a single piece of content, and it wouldn't do as great as the one that we just filmed in 5 minutes one day. Like, the one that we filmed in 5 minutes does extraordinarily well. And then we said, oh shit, then you got to try it all. So when you're first getting started, you don't have to spend a ton of time on your content. Like, now when we make a piece of content, we spend weeks on it because we need to do it well, and we know it's going to perform. We have that assurance that when we put out a piece of content, it's going to do well. So therefore, we have the DSLRs, we have the special effects, we have the lighting, but we've worked our way up to there. So when you're getting started, remember, every single barrier that you tell yourself, I'm gonna need like a week to make this. Remember, if that content doesn't do well, you don't want to, you want to make sure that you're using your time as best as you can. But of course, some things require time, some things require a lot of love. So don't let that deter you from investing time into a great piece of content. But when you're getting started, remember, throw everything against the wall, remove barriers. That's the best. That's like the best piece of advice that we learned, and when we learned it the hard way, because we sometimes we'll put this is kind of in the middle of our journey. We would put the longest amount of time into a video, and I would post it on TikTok, and I said, "This is the one. This is the one, baby. This one's going to the moon," and then it does okay. And then one that I was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling this one. I don't think so." Of course, that ends up being the best video we ever put out. So the world works in mysterious ways, and the algorithm works in mysterious ways. So, and nobody really knows what's going on, but certainly there's some learning lessons in there. But good luck to you. Good luck to your content. Make sure you send it to me when you post it. I would love to see it.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you both.
All right, guys. So we got another speaker up that wants to ask a question. I'm going to go on ahead and let them ask. It looks like we have two up that want to ask their questions. After that, guys, we will be wrapping up because I know that Bark has some stuff that he needs to take care of. I know I've got some stuff I need to take care of in order to get this out as a podcast tomorrow morning at the right time as scheduled. I just need to be able to get that done. So, Mr. Lemons, I know you just requested up, so if you wanted to go on ahead and ask your question, you're more than welcome to.
No, asking a question. I'm just here with Bob. Hello, can you hear me? I think Gerald has a question.
Gerald, come on up. Geraldines? Going once. Going twice. So, okay, guys. So, number one, please show some love for Mr. Bark for coming up here and sharing his knowledge with us. Throw out a bunch of hearts for him. Let him know that we appreciate his time and the information that he was able to share with his examples, his experience. And I'm sure that if you guys reach out to Bark directly, that he would be more than willing to give you some critiques and criticisms that will help progress you into the right direction. And again, Bark, if you have anything else you'd like to say before we close down the space and close down the podcast, by all means, you're absolutely welcome to go on ahead and do so. And I personally just want to thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you guys have got a lot of stuff going on, and it means a lot to me that you were willing to come out here, share your experience, your tips, your knowledge, and I'm definitely going to be doing what I can to try and come up with some viral content. I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for us, though, just because of the fact that my stance on publicly doxing myself. But I'm sure I'll figure something out.
Just want to thank everyone that's hung in here this long and still hanging around here for being here. Appreciate you guys for being here and listening to me ramble for an hour long. I certainly hope you guys learned something today. The thing is and the best part about this space is someone succeeding doesn't take away from anyone else. So I only wish success upon all of you guys and your endeavors and what you're doing. And remember, just 2 years ago, we were 0 followers. We were just the average Joes. And what it's done for us, just through trial and error has really transformed the way that we operate as a business and the way that we think and the doors that we get into. So just know that whatever your goals are in life and in the digital space, that you want to make sure that you're spending your time where it's going to be most useful and have the highest chance of returning for you. And TikTok and Instagram Reels are certainly a really great way to do that. So if you have any other questions, or you guys post your first TikTok, or you want to send me a TikTok you made and you want my feedback on it, certainly happy to give you that and be there. And if you guys want to shoot me a message or whatever. Any questions, I'm always here. So appreciate it, guys, and have an excellent rest of your day, and good luck to you all in the future. And then especially thank you to Komards, our host, for having me on here, and looking forward to seeing you guys around again.
Oh, absolutely. It was my pleasure, and even I was able to pick up some information that I can find useful and beneficial, and definitely going to think about it and see about how we can come up with some content that has the potential to capture that attention in the first second and a half. Guys, and I want to be clear about this, we do not have currently any professional equipment, and yet we sit here this afternoon for the duration of this class broadcasting to 3 different networks, so I'm with Bark on that. You don't need professional equipment. I've got a bunch of tablets and cell phones all huddled around each other in order to cast this out to multiple networks. So we're making it work even without the mixed board or without the audio board. We're making it work without the subscription to a service like Remaster or anything like that. So where there's a will, there is a way. And guys, if you've got the will, you can find a way. I promise you. Now next week we're going to have some different equipment in play and subscriptions in play to make it a little bit easier. Hopefully we can get rid of that buzzing sound and the feedback. But again, my video recording guy says that he's not getting any, so I'm not going to stress it too much this week. But like Bark said, you start out simple and then you work your way up. And if it wasn't for our sponsors on this show, contributing to the sponsorship spots, we really wouldn't have even been able to think about getting equipment that will make the show better in the future. So again, with that, guys, I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here. We do value you and your time. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out, preferably in a tweet with Komards NFTs rather than DMs.
I did.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Lemons.
So it's sort of like just for like people who want to know something. If you could ask someone from high up in a massive digital collectibles or company or something like that, what would you say to them?
I don't know what I would say as far as that goes, but it would certainly raise questions for me. And the first question that I would ask is, what do you consider to be your most valuable asset and the key to your success? So for us, the success has been our family, our community, and without them, we would not be even where we are today. So, for us, it's always going to be about recognizing that family, that community, that network of people that we've connected with.
Thank you. Sweet.
Glad you like that. So with that, guys, again, I do love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of Komards NFTs and Komards Klass. I will leave you with my parting question, and that is this. Remember to ask yourselves at the end of the day, what have you done to make the world a better place?